XL Cyclone, brought to you by Auric Vacuum Cleaners. We will see Bill Reisman, a former Air Force pilot who flew the F-100 Super Sabre during the Vietnam era, flew a number of combat missions during that time. And he'll fly a MiG-17F, actually an aircraft that was his adversary. And then we'll see Dale Snodgrass take to the sky, United States Navy Captain, retired Dale Snodgrass, flying the Korean-era F-86 Sabre jet. And they will put on a demonstration of a MiG versus Sabre dogfight right here in the skies, right over Andrews Air Force Base. In addition to that, we'll be seeing the United States Air Force's heritage flight with the F-22, the Raptor. We'll see the F-16, the F-15, and a Vietnam-era F-4 Phantom II fly by. Another race of the jet car, the Lima flight team and their 16 T-34 aircraft, and then the United States Navy's Blue Angels. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please look off to your right. Inbound, just about a minute out, are three, count them, three Lockheed C-130 Hercules aircraft. Aboard these aircraft are 120 paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne. The mission of the 82nd Airborne Division is to deploy strategically within 18 hours of notification. Watch as we see the first of the jumpers departing the aircraft right now over canopy. He's carrying a bunch of equipment with him. About 60,000 getting ready to perish. Right now here on the field, let's give the United States the regiment participated in the campaigns in North Africa, Sicily, Italy, glider landings at Normandy and Holland, and the Battle of the Bulge. The regiment has also seen action in the Dominican Republic, Grenada, Panama, and Desert Shield and Desert Storm, where, as the first American unit in Saudi Arabia, it drew the line in the sand. On the 12th of February 2003, the regiment returned to the Middle East and led the way during the initial phase of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Since their return, they have returned to both Iraq and Afghanistan several times to support operations there. The 82nd Airborne is prepared to conduct an airborne assault to capture an airfield and secure it for the purpose of introducing follow-on forces into the operational area. The intent of this type of operation is to quickly capture the airfield and key facilities and to isolate the airfield from the enemy, clear the runway, and be ready to accommodate the landing of friendly aircraft. These C-130 aircraft, the Hercules aircraft, have been in continuous production since 1955. They can carry a whole lot of weight, ladies and gentlemen. This is an earlier model, the C-130E, and regardless of its age, it is a sight that is recognizable by aircraft enthusiasts from one part of this globe to another, as it is flown by the air forces of many nations and many services within our country as well. Designed by the Advanced Projects Development Office, and you will hear me mention that name again a little later when we see the F-117 Nighthawk flyby. The Skunk Work is what it was called, named after the Little Abner cartoon of many, many years ago. Work done in secrecy. We are going to meet the United States Navy's Flight Demonstration Squadron, the Blue Angels. On our Jumbotrons today from Big Moving Pictures, we've got some profiles of the pilots of the Blue Angels, and I hope you'll look at the screen right now as we meet numbers 1 through 6 of the Blue Angels, starting with the captain, Commander Steve Foley from Charlestown, Massachusetts.
Excellent. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. You like to say the best thing about being a Blue Angel is, and then, you know, my list goes on and on. So it's hard to fill that blank. But really, I think it boils down to people, much like any other organization. I think one of the really nice aspects about it is so many folks think are so different than other organizations. I do them all. I think it's an honor to represent all of the other organizations affiliated with our naval service. Yes, tough spectators. Definitely put out your best effort. That's going to be the new state. There is some pressure associated with being on the team. You obviously want to represent the Navy Marine Corps in the best possible way. That does carry responsibility. All I would tell young ladies out there is do your best in school. No matter what you do, what else, you can do anything, put your mind to it. So just keep your eyes on your dreams. My name is Matthew C. Shorty. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and later moved to Atlanta. And my call sign is P-Rock. I remember as a little kid watching the Blue Angels perform. Thought that was pretty cool. Top 10 to nothing. That's all. I call what we do the greatest show above Earth. So once we get airborne, once we turn the smoke on right on the runway, we start rolling. The adrenaline starts getting pumped up right from the get-go. It's fast and furious. A lot happens. Being a Blue Angel is great. This is the pinnacle of naval aviation. Nobody does what we do in the world. In fact, we fly lower, faster, and closer than anybody in the world. It's exciting, it's thrilling, it's dangerous, and your normal type A personality, this is the job.
Go by hangar 2 or find a policeman. They're on bicycles, they're wearing white shirts, or find somebody in a military uniform who will help you get there. And RJ Orr, please go to the Lost Child Center. Robin Peters, kicking it back to you.
All right, Chris Lee, thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you see taking off right now those C-130 Hercules aircraft from Hope Air Force Base in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's also the home of the United States Air Force's Air Combat Command A-10 East Coast demo team. And my wife and I had the pleasure of stopping out there and visiting with the demo team and seeing some of their aircraft in action, and saw a number of these C-130 Hercules aircraft that are out there, as you saw earlier. The same type of aircraft used by the United States Navy's Blue Angels. They call it Fat Albert Airlines. They're headed back to Pope, and they'll be coming back tomorrow for the show. Taxiing across from the right, you can see Brian Coltis from the F-16 Fighting Falcons demo team right now.